Hey everyone, I had a request to make a video to show how to connect two V-Stabby units, a Neo and an extender or two Neos, in order to make them pair, or you can actually do up to four Neos together. But anyway, it gives you extra channels, also gives you redundancy as far as your receiver is concerned. And the most economical way to do it is if you wanted to do VPlane, is you buy a Neo, you convert it to VPlane, and then you buy an extender, or if you happen to have a second Neo, you can turn it into an extender, which is what I did. I had two Neos and I just turned one into an extender. And as long as you've got the Express software on the second Neo, at least Express, which is that's basically what it comes with, you can always turn it into an extender, so it doesn't matter what you have. You have to have at least Pro in order to turn the main Neo into a V-plane to work with the V-Control radio. But the biggest thing that you have to realize is that when you look at the instructions right here, which by the way, this is under vstabby.info, under the V-bar control manual, and then macro cells USC extender is one of the things you can do. But if you look and see here at the drawing, all of the signal wires and all of the power and grounds are all connected. So you can't just put jumpers between the two because the signal wires between the channels aux2 and aux3 are not connected, so it won't work. You have to create, you have to make a jumper that goes between the two that's got, I apologize, that has all the signal wires connected as well as the power and ground. And if you want to do more than two Neos, if you look here, you'll see there has to be a bridge on teleport 1. If you bridge those two together, that allows the third Neo to come in and be able to talk as it knows where it is in line. And when you do that, when you get it, you can check and see everything's connected. I got everything powered up. Both Neos are there. Excuse my battery setup right now. I haven't figured out how I'm gonna mount that battery yet. But when you come into the setup here, let me unpower this. When you come to do your setup, you can go to model setup and then, edit my current setup. Start current setup, yes. Okay, so when you go in, you'll see everything you have to plug into. You got your channel 1 as your elevator, channel output for your tail is for your rudder, channel 2 is your aileron, channel 3 is aileron. Because I chose a specific setup, which is on this plane, it has flaps as well as ailerons and a dual elevator setup. So now that doesn't have, there's not a preset for the dual elevator setup along with the flaps and the aileron. So I had to actually do macro cells in order to get the elevators to work, and I'll show you how I did that. But anyway, so gas turbine, airplane, because this is a 20cc plane. You got your flaps left and right, which you plug in, and you literally just go through and you set everything up. You go through and you set your flaps where you want them to be, your output socket, what you want it to be, what switch you want it to be on, and all of that good stuff. Which on the flaps, when you do that, you'll see when I flip my switch here, you can probably hear them, but flaps go up and down, depending on the switch, the position that I have it in. All right, and that works for both. So they basically, those things work together. Then I have my ailerons left and right, which are obviously these guys here. You set your end points, you set your center points, and you set everything you need to do. Your throttle is going to be when you turn your bank on, you see the throttle servo moving. There's two other things that I had to do besides the rudder and the one elevator. So I had the rudder, the one elevator, and I had to add a second elevator and something to turn the ignition on. So, and also to do my retracts, because I have retracts on here as well, which is why I needed all the channels. As you can tell, I just ran out of spots in the Neo because it just doesn't have them. So, output frequency, leave that standard. Okay, so in order to get the macro cells, you go to macro cell setup, edit macro cells, and then you see your normal channels 1 through 4, 1 through 8 going through. Now, when you activate the second Neo, all right, every channel after that, after the main amount of channels that you have, becomes a second Neo. So you'll see 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Those are all the actual channels that I have that are left over. from the second Neo. So I did my second elevator on channel 11, okay? I did my flap, my second flap, because the flap 1, flap 2 is great if you're not doing a second Neo. When you do a second Neo, you have to use the aux 2 output in order to connect them, so the flap channel is gone. So I had to create a macro cell for my second flap, which is what I did on channel 13. And then my ignition cut I did on 14. So basically, when I turn my pot on, you'll see the ignition go on and off. And that's really simple. All you do is you turn it on. The type of channel that you choose, you got all kinds of things you can choose. I chose channel because it only has to see 100% one way or 100% the other way to be on or off. There had to be nothing in between, so it's really simple. And then you choose what switch you want it to be activated with. My radio is really dirty, excuse me. But anyway, so I chose the potty switch because I was using the other switches for other things, and I didn't want to use a momentary switch for that. And then that's really, really simple. It's just on or off. It's just like a switch globe on a helicopter. It's not hard at all. It's very simple. Just turn on basically and it works. All right, so for flaps, I had to do some other things. Now, I chose the channel because that's what the flap is. I chose channel 4 where to get the input signal from because that's where the other flap is operating on. The other flap is on channel 4. So I put the second flap on channel 4 so it mimics the other channel. Then I do my direction, right, reverse or not. And then I got my center point. And then the outputs up and down, the maximum up and down is the same as it is for the other one. So that's how I get my flaps to be the same. And then when I operate my flaps, you see the channel on here mimicking the first channel, which is really cool. So that sets my flaps. All right, so now I need to do the elevator. This one was a little bit more tricky. It's not hard, it's just a little trickier. Okay, so I set a channel as well because it works just like the other channel, the other elevator. Channel 1 is where my elevator coming from, so that's what I had it mimic, that channel itself. So when I move this up and down, you see the thing mimicking the input from channel 1. I had to reverse it, and then I had to set my endpoints. My endpoints are different because the channel input is different. So I set it down, I set my endpoint for each up, each down, and that allowed the elevator to do exactly the same thing. So if you look at the elevator here, they follow up and down. And one elevator works when you plug it in. The second elevator works when you do your macro cell and you mimic the channel, and then you set the endpoints for each one, top and bottom. Everything works like it's supposed to. Now, one cool thing here is a change rate. Let's say if you got something and you want it to delay how it works. So what you can do is you can actually change that rate. Let's change that to like 19. And you watch the elevator, see how it kind of delays itself? So you can actually, if you have servos that are doing different things and you want to delay, you can actually make that one delay just a little bit more than the other one. When you go fast, you see it slow down. I'm going to exaggerate it here so you can really see it. See? So now I'm going to take that back to 0. Everything's the same. So you can actually delay the channel too, depending on what you want, like Bombay doors or things like that. My last one is my retracts, which I just have set on aux 1. So when I flip the switch here, so switch option B, you see it's 125. I flip it down the other way. It goes negative 125. You see my retracts working here. Let me see if I can get them both. And these are, all you have to do is see maximum opening and maximum closing. A signal that says they're open and a signal that says they're closed. So it's just like a switch globe. You set it up, open and close. That's all you have to do. And if you have something that's like a Bombay door that's like a proportional thing where something has to open before another thing opens, then you can actually set the delay to make the Bombay doors open as fast or as slow as you want to. And then when that option is gone, you can actually trigger it to make the next thing work. So you can make the Bombay doors open and then the landing gear come out or whatever you want to drop or whatever, things like that. So you have unlimited possibilities with macro cells, what you want to do. But the awesome thing is you also get redundant receivers when you do it as well. So it just makes it really nice and makes all the the fuss about planes or about helicopters or about quads or whatever it is. The Neo can do it all. It doesn't matter what it is. So I advise you just to play with the macro cells. You can't hurt anything. If push comes to shove and you think you've really screwed it up, just turn it off. You can literally just turn the macro cell off and it goes right back to being normal like it was before. So grab you a Neo, grab you some servos, and start playing with things and see what they do. And it's a really cool thing, really cool option. Hopefully I have this thing in the air sometime soon, and it'll be ready to go. But it's a P51 Mustang and 20cc. I'll let you guys know how the mating goes. Hope this helps.